You may have heard that Laredo is the largest inland port in the country, the number one inland port in the country. And we're going to talk about that because Laredo College is involved in logistics. How is that? Well, we're going to find out because Mr. Jose Solis is the interim chair for the Global Logistics Center. Mr. Solis, I started out, thanks for being here. I started out with that fact because we've been hearing it a lot. Laredo is the number one inland port, and for the last 2 years, Laredo College has tried to seize on that to provide an opportunity for, of course, our students. So tell me what the Global Logistics Center is.
Well, the Global Logistics Center has courses that prepare the students to enter the workforce, with the fundamental knowledge of logistics. Importing requirements, procedures, exporting regulations, tariff classification. So really, it's just more getting them prepared to go into the workforce to make them more marketable towards employers. When they go look for these jobs, they don't have to spend so much time training them from scratch. So they already have this foundational knowledge, and they can sort of hit the ground and run it, if you would.
Give me a little bit about yourself, because you have been in the industry. You have been a businessman in the industry. How did you come to Laredo College, and how do you apply what you learned out in the business?
Well, I graduated here from LC with my associate's degree in import-export back in 1993, which was, the program was still here since then. So I studied here. I got my associate's degree. I went in and I got my customs broker license in 1997. Okay. So then I started working. My family had a freight forwarding agency, and that's where we started working from there. And then I separated from my family business, and I started my own once I got married, and that's what we've been doing for the past over 20 years. I can't believe it's already been over 20 years. But
wow.
And I still am actively using my license. I still have my business, but I'm here here at LC, back to where I started, and I want to help the kids get prepared to go into this really explosive growth that Laredo is going through, and the demand for a workforce is growing every day.
And welcome back. And it makes sense that this is the number one industry here in Laredo, that our kids should have an opportunity. I say kids, but students and students of all ages should have an opportunity to get into the business. You mentioned that you took classes here many years ago, but over the last couple of years, this Global Logistics Center has really become a focus. When we talk about logistics, Mr. Solis, who are the stakeholders? I know I had a conversation with you a year ago on this topic. I still don't understand what logistics is, to be honest with you. I don't understand what you mean when you say import, export, custom brokers. So when we're talking about the Global Logistics Center, who are the stakeholders in logistics?
Stakeholders are going to be the participants in logistics, that everybody's involved. So we have customs, we have CBP, that's a big player in Laredo. They're very interested in this program. They collaborate with us, give us ideas. We also have associations. We have the Laredo Licensed Customs Broker Association that also has a big part in our curriculum. They sort of want to give us pointers of what we should be teaching in the courses, what the industry is calling for, and everything always changes, updates, so we always have to update our curriculum. And of course, the college, those are the stakeholders, the community. We want to be able to have a curriculum that fits what is needed right now in the industry.
Is it accurate to say logistics is, so we've got all this trade going back and forth. Logistics is basically just making sure it gets there in one piece.
Safe on time. And so logistics, like I think I pointed out to you last time I spoke to you, it's just moving products from point A to point B. But between those 2 points, there can be a lot of different entities involved, a lot of different parties involved in the transaction. So especially when you're going over borders, so you have customs documents to process. You have to cross borders. You have to make sure that everything is in regulation. All the documents you have to submit. So anywhere in logistics, you have transportation companies. You have Mexican customs brokers. You have U.S. customs brokers. You have distribution warehouses. So logistics is everybody involved in getting that one product from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So it can be as simple, like I think I mentioned to you, simple from Laredo to San Antonio. It's just one truck and it delivers. But when you go over borders and over, even over oceans, that just becomes more complicated, especially when there's government involved.
Exactly. So you're dealing with two countries now.
Yeah, and
at least in our case, Mexico and the United States. There's laws. There's all sorts of legalities that need to be followed, right?
Yeah, and we have to follow their laws and make sure that everybody's in compliance, so we won't get penalized, and so we won't get the shipment delayed or have any, because logistics is all about getting everything there on time, and because a lot of the companies really need that product just as when they need it. That's the best way they can get there.
Yeah, and regulations are always changing.
Yeah, regulations always change. So we every year the regulations are updated. So we also have to keep on top of that as well, and of course put it in our curriculum so they can have the most updated information.
You're talking about curriculum. We're talking to Mr. Jose Solis. He is the interim chair for the Global Logistics Center.
Right.
Let's talk about the Global Logistics Center for the students. How do they benefit from the Global Logistics Center? If they want to get into logistics, what kind of opportunities are there for them?
Well, we're always letting them know that there's a lot of opportunities for anywhere in the logistics. We always tell them, what path do you want to take? Do you want to be a customs broker? Do you want to work with transportation company? Do you want to work in warehousing distribution? So right now our program pretty much encompasses everything that I just mentioned into the logistics and distribution program, which we cover all those topics. So from there they decide what path they want to take. Mm-hmm. We are working, always looking to see what other items we can put into our program. Maybe one day we can have a different program, maybe in security, in supply chain security, but that's still, in the process. Hopefully one day we can get to that point. But right now we just have one, and pretty much just a really a global look at the logistics and all the parties involved.
Is it something that anybody at any age can get into, or do you need to be on the younger side?
No. We have students that are, your non-traditional students. They're coming in and maybe getting, they want to get retrained, or they want to maybe a new career path. I constantly get calls and emails from individuals that are already working, but they're interested in becoming customs brokers. So they're asking about that course we have where we study the U.S. regulations, which is the requirement to be able to take the customs
Mm-hmm.
broker exam. So I mean, it's open to everybody. We've had kids straight out of high school, and we have people who have been working in the industry for 15, 20 years calling in and asking about the program.
Now, is it something that they can make a living out of? If a student is coming out of high school and they're interested in logistics, is this something that can pay them a living wage, is what the term we use, I guess?
A living wage, yes. As you know, we are growing. There's warehouses being built every day. You see when you go to San Antonio, they're clearing out land and they're just building more warehouses. Wages are trying to catch up with livable wages, and so any student that I always tell them, it's really up to them. I always encourage them to get their foot in the door in any position they can get and learn as much as possible, because that's going to increase their value. Mm-hmm. And then from there, as far as they want to go, they can make a living off of, the logistics.
Yeah. Now, for the Global Logistics Center, are there certifications? Is it an associate's? What sort of education is it?
We have, currently we have a Certificate 1 and Certificate 2. Certificate 1 is just a one semester certificate where they go through courses like the just introduction to logistics, because a lot of these students coming in straight from high school don't have an idea what we do here in Laredo, and we are, like you said, the number one in import. They see the trucks, they see all the traffic,
Yeah.
but they're really their eyes are open when I tell them how Laredo is very important to the economy, how one day that we shut down Laredo, it's going to affect the whole nation. So we have that introduction to logistics. We have the principles of exports, where we go over the regulations of when we're exporting out of the U.S., what documents they need to have. We also, on that Certificate 1, there's the Harmonized Tariff Classification, which is used for logistics and classifying products that we need to report to customs when we're bringing in merchandise. And then that last one we have is warehousing and distribution.
Okay.
So they get to know about how a warehouse works, what materials, the storage, how they store merchandise, how it moves in and out, the material movers that are used in the warehouses, and that's Certificate 1. And Certificate 2, we start with the principles of imports. So that's when we're bringing in stuff into the United States. So we're bringing in merchandise. That's also customs clearance, documents required. And then we also have that one. We have transportation, domestic and international transportation, where we talk about the carriers, their requirements, what documents they need, and then we have also. I can't.
That's all right. It's a lot of information.
It's a lot of information, and we did add some new classes in this curriculum. So we also are having an intercultural management course, and I know here in Laredo, and there's a lot of just a lot of dealing with Mexican clients in Mexico, Mexican companies. But there are times where you have to understand what their cultural backgrounds are and how to manage a company that has different people, employees from different cultures.
Yeah.
And then we also have international trade and finance and banking. That's also going to be also a new course we're added. So that's going to show you the ins and out of business financing, commercial loans. We want to include a little bit of personal finance because I believe it's also very important for anybody looking into going to business, even if they want to start their own. Also have a good knowledge of their personal finance. It's something that they really don't cover in the high schools.
As far as the software, the technology is concerned, there is a lot of software that's common amongst everyone, correct, in the business and the industry. Is that something you teach as well?
Yes, we do have a program here that's called the ABI system, which is the Automated Broker Interface System that we use to interface with customs programs where we transmit our information, our data for the shipments that are coming in. We do have a program here that we use in class so they can get real hands-on experience of the software that's used out in the industry. And I'm also in the works of talking to some other providers to give us different ABI software programs so they can have maybe 2 or 3 different ones that the ones that are used mostly in the industry so they can have that under their belt.
And are you seeing students interested in the industry, in the business?
Yes, we do have students this particular semester. This is our biggest enrollment. We have about 25, 26 students.
Wow.
And that's great because we do need the students to come in and the industry is calling for more personnel. So we're growing every day. And hopefully with this program here and us talking to the public, to the LC public, we'll get some more interest and get some more people involved.
Yeah, and that's what Laredo College does. A lot of the programs, or not all the programs here, they're there because this is what the community, this is what Laredo needs.
Yes, and rightfully so. I mean, you said that we're the number one in import in the U.S. and if not in the world. So rightfully so, Laredo College should have the number one school for logistics.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for, and that's our goal.
What do you see down the road for the Global Logistics Center? I know there's a lot of plans. I mean, there's a lot of things you guys want to do, right?
Well, one of the things I mentioned, maybe we can get another program in there, 2 or 3, depending on different pathways that we can offer to the students. Our building, of course, we're housed at the De La Garza building. That is just our building for logistics. So we're still, our plans or goals is to utilize it more to sort of emulate an actual working environment, so the students can have that feeling like they're going to work, but they're actually going to school and learning.
Yeah.
So that is the plan for the center. We have a small warehouse in the back.
Really?
Yeah, we do
I
have
did not know
a
that.
little small warehouse, and probably smaller than this room here, but it does have we have pallet racks and we have a dock and we have actually a trailer that was donated to us by Transportes FEMA, a small one that we can use in our curriculum.
Wow.
Show them how to maybe do a trailer inspection, and a lot of these kids don't have that experience, they don't have that background. So and there's a lot of things in the work as well for the program.
That's exciting. The Global Logistics Center, Mr. Jose Solis is the interim chair. Mr. Solis, we'll definitely have you back on, but if anybody's interested in the program, they're invited to visit our website at laredo.edu. We'll also display the phone number here on our screen and an email if they want to contact the Global Logistics Center. Anything else you want to mention?
No, just it's great to be here, and I'm great to be back, and being a LC graduate as well.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here providing, helping the students, achieve their goals and dreams, and doing what Laredo is known for, number one in important. So we got to push this program and get it out there. So, and not only here in Laredo, but out to the rest of the country.
And Nuevo Laredo, everybody. I mean, that's in this area and everywhere else across the country. Hey, we're it for trade.
Yeah.
Come on down, Laredo College Global Logistics Center. Mr. Solis, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you all very much for watching.